Hey guys and fellow whiskey lovers, welcome back to Malt Mariners Whiskey Roads. I am Leon and I traveled the world to try different whiskies and I try as many whiskies as I can, and I love to taste different whiskies and I love to be, surprised. And this is the reason why I made this video, to give you the 5 weirdest whiskies that I have tasted so far in my whiskey career. After over 12 years traveling the world and working in the whiskey industry, it is actually not that easy to be really surprised by a new product. But now and then you will come across some products, some whiskies that really make you feel this wow effect. What the hell is this? And this is the whiskies that we want to talk about today. Here is my 5 whiskies of the weirdest whiskies that I've tasted so far. Number 1. We start with one of my actually favorite whiskies from America. This is the Balcones Brimstone. This is a whiskey that really kind of freaked me out in the beginning. I actually tasted a single malt from Balcones right at the beginning when I started with YouTube. So this is not a single malt. This is a corn whiskey. And in Europe, we would not be calling this whiskey. That's why down on the bottom, there's actually says Texas Spirit, because this product is not 3 years old. Balcones matures the whiskey. They throw the whiskey out in the Texas sun, so the oak gets really baked, the cask gets baked by the sun, and the spirit really takes in the aroma and the color. This is an uncolored whiskey, by the way. In American standards, this is whiskey. Really quickly. So what this is basically, it's a corn spirit, a corn whiskey, and it's made with roasted blue corn. And the blue corn is roasted over I think it's kind of toasted and a little bit smoked. So this is the reason why this whiskey has such a funky and strange and good aroma. It is very much like a lot of licorice. I just love smelling this whiskey so much. There's a lot of licorice, a lot of dark licorice, like coffee liqueur, very sweet. It's a very sweet and intense whiskey, but there is a slight peat. I like not peat, but smoked note in there, almost like tobacco-y, sweet pipe tobacco. And I love this whiskey so much. It's quite young, it's quite robust, but it has some sort of sweetness to it that you could actually misinterpret it as sherry cask flavors. So Balcones Brimstone. This is a weird whiskey in the best kind of ways. I really like this whiskey. Whenever you have the chance to get your hands on this one, definitely give it a try. If you like American whiskeys like rye and bourbon, certainly you should try this. And if you like single malt, but maybe you want to expand your horizon, also give Balcones Brimstone a try. I think this is really cool, and it's a fantastic whiskey. It's weird in the best way possible. Number 2 is a whiskey that I've been working with in tastings quite a lot at the moment. I actually visit the distillery, so check out the other videos that I did with Aurora Spirit Distillery in Norway. So this is a whiskey from the northernmost distillery in the world. It's called the Bivrost Heimdallr. And when I did the German video for my German whiskey channel, my brain kind of locked out. It stopped sort of interpreting the tasting notes. Also schon mal, wow, das riecht ja unfassbar abgefahren. Because I have rarely tasted and smelled such a very specific aroma in a whiskey. And I opened this up and I had immediately cinnamon and baked apples on the nose. There's a very strong cinnamony note in this whiskey. And this is basically due probably to the use of a very small amount of Amburana wood, which is actually a Brazilian wood. It's not oak, so in Scotland they could not use this to make their single malt whiskey, because in Scotland you can only use oak. But in the rest of the world, especially in Europe, we can actually use non-oak barrels, and Amburana is non-oak, so they can use it in here. And Amburana gives this crazy cinnamony note. It has a lot of stone fruit, a lot of baked apples, plums, and kind of aromas. So this is a single malt. Bivrost is a single malt. It's made in the Aurora distillery in Norway. Please check out the videos that I did with them. It's a fantastic and super interesting place. Beautiful surroundings also. Yeah, and it's a really strange but really, really good whiskey that I really enjoyed.
We are at the world's northernmost distillery located beneath the Lyngen Alps in northern Norway. So we're about 2 hours outside of Tromsø.
And now we're gonna have a look around the distillery.
Yeah, so number 2 goes to the Heimdallr of the Aurora Spirit Distillery. Weird, but very, very good. The third whiskey I tried that really freaked me out completely was, luckily enough, in a blind tasting. Und ich schnupper jetzt mal, und das ist ja richtig abgefahren, Leute. Was ist das denn? Was ist das denn? So I think one of my Patreons gave me a blind tasting, a small sample bottle, and I did on the German channel, I did a blind tasting, and this also blew me completely away, because I smelled, in German, we have something that is called Schwarzwälder Kirsch, no, that's the... that's a cake. Schwarzwälder Schinken, which is basically smoked and salted ham that is has a very distinct smoky flavor to it. And this whiskey tasted and smelled like Schwarzwälder Schinken. So there's it's like a salted and smoked ham, and there was also some sort of herbal kind of flavors in there that reminded me of we have like herbal schnapps in Germany. There's a lot of like weird central like Austrian, German, Swiss kind of aromas in there. And this is actually the Sentis Malt Dreifaltigkeit, and Dreifaltigkeit means Trinity. So it's a Swiss whiskey from Switzerland. It's really, really interesting, and I think this is one of the strangest single malts that I have. I think it's also a triple malt. I'm not 100% sure if this is actually single malt. Sorry, I haven't really checked on this one, but I think it is a malt whiskey. But yeah, if you like smoky aromas, but you want to go outside your classical peat flavors, try the Sentis Malt from Switzerland. I think this is really interesting. I personally don't really like whiskey that was smoked over wood. I like peaty whiskeys, but not really wood smoke kind of whiskeys. But I think from as far as wood smoke whiskeys goes, this is probably the best and the weirdest and the funniest whiskey that I have tried so far in that area. And we're actually sticking with number 4 to another whiskey that has smoke in it, but has not been smoked over peat. And that is the Namibian whiskey On Jabba. And On Jabba is, I personally think, really, really cool and a really, really nice whiskey that I can only recommend for you to try. So it's categorized as a grain whiskey because it's not 100% malt. It's not single malt. I think it was made from a part of African millet variety. So it's 3 different grains in there. And yeah, the coolest thing about this whiskey is that it was actually smoked over elephant dung. So basically, and it's matured in red wine cask, I think. It's a very sweet and marmalade kind of whiskey, but the funkiest part about this, you can actually smell and taste elephant. So whenever you can in the zoo and past the elephant zoo part as a kid, so you know how elephants sort of smell in a weird way, and especially the dung part. I would have never thought that I would actually taste a whiskey that has sort of like shit flavors in it, literally, and I would actually like it. I know that there's Floki from Iceland, which uses sheep dung. I personally am not a big fan of these flavors, so that's why I choose On Jabba to be on this list, because I wanted to put weird whiskeys in here, but whiskeys that I personally also like and can recommend. So On Jabba is definitely on the list of my top 5 weirdest whiskey experiences, but in a good way. Yeah, speaking of experience, the number 5, the last whiskey on here, is actually a whiskey that I have just tasted in my German channel, and I have not really decided yet if I actually like this whiskey. What the fuck? What the actual... I think I would probably go with yes, because it's so extremely strange from nose and taste, and that is the Brenne Organic Single Malt from France. So Brenne is not a distillery itself. It was created by a ballerina. Is that the right word in English? I think so. And it is made and produced by a non-disclosed distillery in Cognac. So it's probably made from a Cognac producer. And the cool thing about Brenne is it's distilled on a Cognac still, a Chirenne still, and it's fermented with Cognac yeast, and it is also matured in Cognac casks. So basically, this is a whiskey that is almost exclusively made like a Cognac, but it's a single malt whiskey made from local barley. And the funny thing about this is not just how it's made, but how it smells. Because to me, this smells like gummy bears in the weirdest kind of way. There's in Germany, we have like Haribo Truppi Frutti, which is like a tropical kind of chewing like a chewy sweet, which is like shaped into tropical fruits like pineapple. And also this tastes to me a lot like cotton candy and sweet candy, and actually a bit like Red Bull. When the first time I nosed this whiskey, I thought this was a whiskey that smells like Red Bull. So this is the kind of weird flavors you can expect from Brenne single malt whiskey. But I think this is really interesting because it's like it's categorized as whiskey, so there can't be any additional flavors in there in Europe. So it has to be a whiskey that basically gives you these kind of aromas from the distillation and from the wood. And I think that is really, really exciting. So now it's your turn to tell me what were the weirdest and the strangest whiskey experiences that you had in the glass. Tell me about whiskeys that were like, gave you aromas, flavors, and experiences that wasn't completely out of your normal range or what you would expect from a single malt whiskey, for example, or from any kind of whiskey, so to speak. All of that in the comments. Like and subscribe this channel, obviously. And yeah, I see you guys next time down the road. I hope you have enjoyed this, and yeah, see you down the road.